Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Joes of all ages, welcome to the main event of the evening.
It's Talking Joe with Chief and Steve.
Yo, Joe! Yo, Joe! Yo, Joe!
Hey. Chief Dog.
Oh, ho, it's Joe.
Yeah, boy. How are you?
Get a haircut, you hippie.
I tell you what, funny you should say that. My wife and my kid had a haircut last week, and they both just pointing at me saying, yeah, basically get a haircut, hippie to me, because they're like, what look are you going for? It's not a strong, well, it is a strong look, what I've got, but it's not a good look. So that kind of inspired me to keep growing it. So there you go.
Long hair, don't care, right? Well,
Long hair, don't care.
Chief, it's just you and me, brother.
Wow, coming off the back of episode 80, what a smorgasbord of fun that puppy was.
Listen, we need to get one thing on record and abundantly clear. Ben was very boisterous, shall we say.
Hot.
He was hot. He was so hot I had to bring his mic level down.
Yeah, man.
Partly because of the so-called rosé wine that he was tucking into.
That we think wasn't actually rosé wine.
Yeah, well, I mean, the evidence is on the bottle. Everyone in the group is also climbing in saying, hang on, that's got no alcohol percentage.
Yeah, he was high on Talking Joe content.
Look, it was great fun, man. We should definitely get the boys back as often as possible.
Yes.
A real
Yeah. Why
treat.
wait for an anniversary show? Let's just get them on when they're available.
Mm-hmm.
What have
How
you been
the
up
hell
to
are
other
you?
than that? Anything?
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
jinx.
All right, I'll go first. I printed off, or I used a website to create some special Talking Joe content, which I won't spoil or put out any images just yet until I'm sure I'm happy with them. But it revolves around the original 4 Talking Joe crew, something physical content that I'm going to send out to each one of the boys. That I've got some spare sets that I might make available either for sale or for the Talking Joe fans, or maybe some giveaways. But let's just say trading cards, Talking Joe trading cards. What did you think of them?
I was about to say, ooh, you tease. But yeah, man, they are physical. They are trading cards. They're a set. Chief, you are full of surprises, man. I mean, it's such a thoughtful idea. What struck you? I mean, when did it occur to you, let's create trading cards out of the Talking Joe crowd?
Yeah, actually, in fact, I will put images up online. When the ones I printed, they're a little bit off-centered and not quite ideal. So I don't know. I had many years back, I had all these sketches from conventions, art sketches and commissions, and I thought these would be cool. And I made actually a set of playing cards. I went to just a normal digital printing website that prints like mugs and T-shirts and calendars with your own images you can upload, and one that did playing cards. So I uploaded 52 different 54 because I had 2 jokers, 54 different pieces of art that I'd got over the years, and made a 52 card deck that had the suits and the numbers on, but also the images of art I'd had over the years, just as a just dicking around. Thought it'd be fun. And then I thought, I tell you what would be cool, to do trading cards with art I've got. So the art on the front, on the back, flip it over and you'll get creator, who was the artist, when did it take place, where was it taking place, almost like stats of the art piece, who's the character on the front. And I found this site in America, I think it was called Go Trading Cards or something like that, where they give you different templates and you can upload your art and all the text on the back, and had some made and posted over, but they were quite expensive. It was working out about $4 per card. And so when I look at, 500 sketches I've got, that's, a lot of money to create that just for something that I don't really need. And then that was years ago. And then recently I was thinking, I really don't know what sparked it. Maybe it was an email came in from Go Trading Cards about an offer.
Yeah, prodding you for your hard-earned Tom. tell you.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, the trading cards. Maybe I could do something. And the anniversary show was coming up, and so I thought, and 4 guys from the show, maybe. And I was flicking through my G.I. Joe trading cards at the time. The set that you were talking about on I was going to say recent, but it was quite a long time ago on Joburg. You were talking about that Impel trading card set. And
you're like, oh, what, this? And you've got a full set. I'm like, Chief.
Yeah, I've got a full set, yeah.
You've got so much stuff, man. It's never ending, this well.
No, it isn't. And so then I thought, oh, yeah, cool. Maybe I could create some of those. So I went onto that Go Trading Cards website, looked it up, and I thought I can get for $80, I can get a set of 4 trading cards, and I can get 5 sets of those trading cards. So 20 cards, $80, about 50 quid. And then I remember there was an artist in the UK called Mr. Hope, really good artist. He's at a lot of conventions. And I remember he had created some Jurassic Park trading cards for sale at one of his stands. So I messaged him and I said, where did you create these? And he said, I just did it on they're business cards that I did on a digital printing website, but you can upload art for front and back. So I thought, can I, mock up business cards that clearly are pretending to be trading cards? So I found a website in the UK. I used the templates and design from this Go Trading Card website. Now, it won't let you download that design unless you pay. So what I did is I had the image on the screen, but then I did a print screen, but inside what it does is it's got the image, but it's got dotted lines kind of indented around the image to stop you doing that. But I still screen grabbed it inside the dotted lines. So the image is slightly smaller than it would be, but it still served its purpose. So then I basically uploaded those images to this digital printing site in the UK, selected I want a set of 4 and I want 20 copies of each. So I got 20, and they actually sent me 27. So I got 27 sets of 4 for like 24 quid.
Sneaky fox, he's bucking the system.
It was like half the price I would have paid for getting them from the USA, and
Genius.
I got 22 more sets than I could have done. So and they turned out quite well, except I slightly offline some of the text is near to the edge, but I've been talking a lot about these, and hopefully by the time this airs, on the day this airs, I better put pictures up so people can at least see what I'm talking about before they have to listen to this spiel. But they turned out quite nice. I'm going to send it to the 4 or the 3 other Talking Joe crew so that they've got a set as well. But that's mainly what I've been up to, designing these cards on work's time.
Well, indeed. Chief, you are a piece of work, my friend. I mean, not only are the cards deliciously designed and feature some rather priceless images of the 4 of us, may I just say, the write-ups are damn good. Great read. I mean, you're a wordsmith, buddy. Take it.
Well,
it's you.
Yeah. Hopefully the fans like them as well, so yeah.
I even love your attempt at South African colloquialism. Because, of course, you include a quote at the end. How could you not?
Yes.
You bloody genius.
That's it. Good stuff. Have you been up to anything interesting?
Oh, man. Well, top of the list has got to be the fact that this past week I have received the mother lode of Joes. I know I've been bleating about it in everywhere that I'm social, be it Talking Joe or G.I. Joburg, that I'm here in Australia with precious few toys. Well, the call was answered. A fella from the United States called Cody, a fella from Brisbane called Alan Grant. I mean, I'm sure he gets the Jurassic Park reference all the time.
Yep, of course.
And my tomahawk arrived. All on the same day. So I'm in hog heaven, man. I'm just loving having a sizable collection again. It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You showed me an image. It was like you said, it all came on one day. I said, I need your. Before I said about these trading cards, I said I need your postal address, and you said, Chief, I don't need more stuff. You don't need to send me anything. Look at this. You sent me a pic of the mother lode. But these are 4 cards flat pack. They're not going to cost much to post. So add them to the collection. But
gladly.
Your nice treasure trove you got there. Listen, this has been a really upbeat, pleasant start to the show. So unfortunately, that can only mean one thing.
Oh, no.
We've got to go inside Chief's mind.
Chief, I'm terrified. This is my first time. Go easy on me.
Bringing back an oldie but a goodie. And now, so here's what happened. Me and the missus took the day off work today.
What? You don't start off by saying people?
Listen,
I
what's bugging me this week?
I feel cheated, honestly, Chief.
But what's bugging me this week? People who... No, I got nothing now. I'm just going to go back to where I was. Me and the missus took the day off because in the UK there has been a relaxation on those not in the UK, or if it's named something differently elsewhere, something called stamp duty, which is what you pay when you purchase a property. It is effectively dead money you throw away for the privilege of buying a house. It's like a tax, if you will, and that's been relaxed, and that means that people like us can save, upwards of 10 grand, 10,000, 10 bags of sand on purchase. Oh, there's a colloquialism for you. I might use that later. I'm going to use that later. So saving money on buying a property. We were looking at moving anyway, but not quite on this timescale. We've got until 31st of March to complete the purchase of a property, and that stamp duty will be waived. So what we did is at the weekend, we just picked out a random place. Not a random place, it's a place called Dorking, which is quite unfortunate. Dork's not necessarily used in the UK. Maybe a bit in the 90s, but you wouldn't hear kids calling each other dorks. I think it's definitely a US thing. Not sure if
but I think the meaning has been estranged from what it means. I mean, isn't like a camel's penis?
Oh, I thought dork meant nerd. Okay.
No, dork is a dick, dude.
Oh, really? In what language? In what region?
I don't know, but it was something that was evident to me. Let me just actually Google that now.
I'm sure dork. This is from my knowledge of watching American shows as a kid. I thought if you called someone a dork, you were saying they're a bit of a weirdo, a bit of a nerd.
Yeah, look, the first hit is a contemptible, socially inept person.
Right.
And it is kind of North American and informal. But
Yes.
I'm going to peer a little bit deeper while you talk.
Okay. So anyway, Dorking, we want to move to someone that's a bit greener, more nature, etc. We're in South London at the moment. So Dorking, that is not too far away from us, probably about 35-minute drive, but it's in the Surrey Hills, which is a gorgeous part of the south of England, down in the UK. And it is, it's a natural heritage site of beauty, the Surrey Hills area, and we liked the look of it. And so we decided to jump on a train today, pop down there, have a look around the town just to see what it's all about, and absolutely loved it. Really nice, kind of sleepy market town, and had a good look around. And the reason why I'm going inside Chief's mind is because this has come up before, but I'm having a slam. I'm having a go at Chief's ineptitude of reading train timetables. So we thought we've got to be back to pick the kid up from school circa 3 p.m. So we thought, right, I looked it up. There's a train here from Dorking at 1:40, and it's about a 40-minute train. We've got to change at Sutton. So 40 minutes, that'll get us back about 2:25 p.m. We'll walk home, we'll get a quick drink. Louise would go down and pick up Evelyn from school, which means I would be on time to record Talking Joe at 3 p.m. with my man S-Jub7. Mm-hmm. And then
that's me.
Then on the way to Dorking, the missus said, "Oh, do you want to pick her up from school when we get back?" And I'm like, "I thought that's what you do. And I told you I got a pod at 3. Oh, she's never very good for me when I try and pick her up from school. She says she's tired and I have to pull the scooter along. Oh, you'll be much better at it." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't have to put the podcast back by 15 minutes. I've already delayed S-Jubs on the last one I recorded."
She's played the good cop, bad cop card, huh? It's like, oh, you're better at it. Why don't you do it?
So I said, fine, I'll message S-Jubs saying I'm going to be 15 minutes late. So we're in Dorking, we looked around, and I said, yeah, there's a train at 1:40. And on the way home, she said, oh, there's a bookshop here, should we pop in and have a look? And I said, let's pop in and have a little look, see if there's any books we can get Evelyn. She said, have we got time? I said, yeah, we got time. We've got 15 minutes before the train goes. So we popped in there and spent 5 minutes that we didn't need to spend. Made it through the train station. We got to the platform. There's a train on the platform, and I'm looking around. It's 1:37 p.m. So I'm looking to see what platform the 1:40 train is. So as I'm looking, this train, I look up and I see, oh, wait a minute, this 1:37 is our train. It's not 1:40. And as I looked, the train just started leaving the platform. So we missed the 1:37 train, but I still swear to this day that I saw 1:40 when I looked at it on my app in the cafe we were in having our lunch, that there was a 1:40. Clearly I was looking at something else completely. I wasn't even looking at the stations that I was mean to be going to or from. But anyway, missed that train. It's only half hourly. So now, if we get the next train, that will get us into our home station at 2:57. The collection time for picking up the kid is 2:55. So we need to get a DeLorean and go back in time 2 minutes. However, it's about 10 to 12 minute walk to the school from the station. So by the time we got off the train, we're probably going to get to the school at 3:15 p.m. Collection time is 2:55, so we're going to be 20 minutes late. Now, obviously, collection time at 2:55, they don't expect every parent to arrive on time there. It's kind of like a one-in, one-out scenario, so they'll still be picking kids up from 5 to 3 until 3:05. But still, if I get there at 3:15, she's going to be the last one there. I don't know if I've got to phone the school to say, yes, I am coming. I don't know how long they hang around. So now I'm like, oh, bollocks. So we're now on the train from Dorking to Sutton, which is where we're going to swap over. Unfortunately, we've got a 20-minute wait at Sutton to get the connecting train to Wallington, where we live. So now...
Chief, I'm going to need a DeLorean to get back the last 10 minutes, and I think the listeners will as well. I mean, we ran out of Inside Chief Mind _ music a long time ago now.
Well, you're editing, so feel free to snip out any of this. But
I don't know if I can. I need to put everyone through the same punishment.
the punishment that you're getting right now. Yeah.
Incidentally, dorking, or dork.
Yes.
Older use, according to dictionary.com. Penis.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, buddy.
I never knew that, but now I can happily call people dorks. They think I'm calling them a bit of a jerk off. I'm actually calling them a dick. So, yeah, very clever. Undercover slur.
I hope you don't get an old school aficionado like me, buddy. He's like, hey, that's not very nice.
So I said, don't worry, I can run from the station. I can get to the school in about 7 minutes. The problem with that was... we had stopped in a cafe for lunch. We both had full vegan breakfasts, of which there was a big smashed avocado part of the breakfast. She doesn't eat avocado, so I had her avocado. So I had double avocado. She doesn't eat spinach, so I had all her spinach. So I've had 2 sausages, double avocado, double spinach. She didn't have a tomato either. I've had double tomato, beans, 4 slices of toast. Then we topped that off with a cake. Then we topped that off with a chai latte. And I, at this point...
bursting.
I cannot move, so there's no way I am running from a train station to a school to pick up a 4-year-old and then trying to get her home. So then we said, fine, let's get a taxi from Sutton. We finally got the taxi, but the taxi, she put the missus, instead of putting the school address in, she put the home address. So the taxi's taken us to our home, so I still had to run to the bloody school.
Oh, with all that food jiggling around.
Now I've got a massive stitch, I'm crumpled over, a cramp in my belly. I was only 5 minutes late though, to be fair, picking her up, picked her up. All good. On the way home, scooter broke. The back wheel fell off.
Of course.
The bolt came out. So now I've got to carry the scooter, but she's also got to bring her home everything she had at school. So a hat, a wellies, a cardigan, a book bag, everything that had been stored at school that wasn't brought home every day. So now I haven't got a bag on me either. So I've got 2 armfuls of stuff, a scooter that's broken that I've got to carry, and a kid that's whinging because she's too tired to walk home. Anyway, finally got home. By this time, I am sweating like a fat man in a discotheque. So I am the man I'm the man who's doing a podcast just in his jockey shorts with no trousers on in the loft.
Woohoo, baby. You took 20 minutes to tell us that. I mean...
I could have got straight to that last 2 minutes of story, couldn't I?
The ladies in the audience are swooning. Chief Dog and his skivvies. Well, buddy, I feel like I'm going to reiterate something Ben said after your motorcycle misadventures. Just get a car, mate. Just get a car.
Yeah, that is an option.
Because they're just falling out of trees, right? You know.
Of course.
You pluck a card.
He bought a Tesla car, which I believe is fully electric, no carbon footprint. However, costs more than I probably earn in about 5 years' salary. So
and is also a new car.
Yeah, and have you seen those doors? It's like they kind of got electric gull-wing DeLorean doors. They look amazing.
The construction of a new automobile has as much of a carbon footprint as that car will produce in its entire lifespan.
Yep.
So I say you
you
want to
go.
save the planet, buy used. But hey,
Or get a bicycle, man. That's what I do.
this is my inside Steve's mind. It's not really an annoyance. It's more just an observation. When did the term push bike become popular? Because I just think that is a stupid word.
Push bike. So that would have been UK-wise. My parents and probably their parents would have used the term push bike. So
What's wrong with just
very
saying bicycle?
very old school reference that is. You wouldn't hear any kids after, I would say, UK after 1985 using the term push bike.
But it seems to be coming back. And this
Oh,
is
really?
how
Do you
people
think?
it's how people distinguish a bicycle from a motorbike. Because if you say
Right.
bike and people go, huh? You say push bike to
Yeah.
elucidate. But I would
Yes,
just say
yes.
I would argue say bicycle rather.
Yeah.
If you
Or
want
pedal
to
bike.
clarify. No, don't say pedal bike. Just say bicycle, chief. Come on. The thing is a bicycle. It's not a push bike. A push bike is something that you give your toddler to kind of teach them how to ride a bike. It's a bike without
Yeah.
pedals.
Yeah,
That's what I would
we
call a push bike.
UK, we would call that a balance bike, yeah.
Ah,
Where they
nice.
use their feet to like scurry along.
Yeah, there you're literally pushing off the ground to
Yeah,
move.
yeah.
Anyways, let's exit our minds and enter our snacks.
Yeah, if people are still with us, it's time for the snack police. Potato chips, crisps, biscuits and candy, washing them down with a whiskey or a brandy, chewy sweets, cookies, built around jerky, snacks running fair because we got them at our mercy. We're snackers, attackers, bad mother truckers and we're eating all the crackers, munchers, crunchers, knockout snacks like we're heavyweight punchers. The snack police are in the his house.
This is courtesy of my new pen pal from Brizzy, Alan. He suggested I go to IGA and scope out some of the authentic Aussie snacks they have there. This is Ajitas Veggie Chips. Vegan friendly. Hey, I'm taking a walk on the green side, Chief. No dried meats for me. I'm going to break into this bag. It's barbecue flavor. I'm very disappointed to see that it's less than 100 calories per 20 gram serve. I'm going to feel rather cheated. I want
Yes.
my calories. Anyways, they are circular, pounded down things that look like puffed air.
Yep, I had something almost the same looking as this yesterday, in fact. They were barbecue flavour, they were called pop chips, but they looked exactly the same. Yep.
Which you absolutely love, right? Because you are vegan and strange.
Well, I love any kind of potato, maize, corn. I'm going to call them crisps, not chips, but any kind of thing like that. I would regularly buy like a 12-pack of KP Frazzles, which are like bacon ones, and just smash the whole 12 packs in one sitting. But enough about that. How are these?
Sorry, Chief, I can no longer hear you over the barbecue veggie chips. Oh, man. I see what you mean. I can just blow through an entire bag of these before the opening credits of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Very good. So is that a double thumb up?
Yeah, they are fantastic. Like,
Good.
such a nice alternative to the heaviness of a potato chip, which is obviously fried.
good.
Oh man, I'm starting to sound like real sensible people. Like you or my brother. Oh man.
Me sensible. Come on.
Mr. Vegan, come on, Chief.
Right. Okay.
You're a healthy boy.
I'm not vegan anymore. I'm flexitarian.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's a sexitarian new word you've invented.
I think that means I will try and be vegan, but if I really fancy a tuna sandwich, I'll have a tuna sandwich.
Me mate Dave isn't bisexual. He's trisexual. Because he'd try anything sexual.
Love Ali G.
Oh, yes, you do, brother. Ali.
Ali C.
Ali
I think.
C.
I'm trying to remember. I put that video, which I've shown you, I put it on the Patreon Discord server for Outer Timers. Now,
Since that's no more.
because Outer Timers is no more. However, if you were a fan of the Outer Timers and you weren't on the Patreon Outer Timers, we have actually decided to open up that Discord server to everyone. So that is basically, there were channels in there for comic talk, movie talk, retro talk, like-minded people, basically just a big WhatsApp group effectively. Anyone can chat. Instead of using Twitter or Instagram, everyone can just chat together in the same place. So if you do want to be part of the Out of Timers Discord server, where there is Talking Joe chat as well, then hit me up, hit the Chief Dog up, any way you can find us, or even Talking Joe, and I'll send you a link where you can join that Discord server for good chat. I've sent S-Jubs a link. You've joined, haven't you?
Indeed.
Yep.
Very interested at the parallels between Dam Busters and the Star Wars Trench Run.
Yeah.
I watched Dam Busters like a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Right.
In Letterboxd, I reviewed it and like kind of jotted down all the similarities, I think.
Okay, wicked.
I wrote them down somewhere. But like there's even a character called Hutch. Lucas had no problem lifting entire swaths of dialogue.
Yeah, Lost Tari, Lost Touch, and that is as well. Talking about Hutch, if you weren't listening to another cheap plug, Out of Timers, if you were listening to Out of Timers, but you weren't listening to the Clone Wars Dispatch, which was our recap of the animated show, it's worth going back and listening to those, but maybe not the first 8 minutes, but listen to the last 6 or 7 minutes, because that is where me and Ben do a couple of Star Wars things, if you're into Star Wars, where I tell him about lines from the movie that as a kid I completely misheard. I tell Ben about the idiocy of what I was hearing at the time, and I play the actual clip, and then he gives me Star Wars impressions of characters or noises from the movies, and I try and guess that. So that's quite fun. So even if you're not into the animated show, listen to the back end of all those Clone Wars episodes. But enough of that cross-pollination rubbish. It's time for my snack. This is a snack that would have featured on the Outer Timers in the Sour Sensation segment, because I have a pack of sour smog balls, crunchy candy with a sour chewy centre. I believe these are American candies, so generally speaking they are horrible, because no offence America, your candies and chocolates suck ass compared to UK sweets. So here we go. These are very small balls. Let me put some in my mouth. Oh my god, that's almost broken my tooth. I can't crunch it.
Damn, son.
Oh, there you go. Wow. That is... Oh, that's pokey. It's a bit winky. Yeah, sour. Well, there's another colloquialism for you, pokey. Yeah, they are not that nice, but anything sour or spicy means I have to just keep eating stuff. So, I don't like them very much. I will continue eating them.
I know that winky in this context means you're kind of, screwing up your face a little bit, like your eyes have to blink.
Yeah.
But is
sour.
it not a colloquialism, like a winky is another term for dick?
Oh yeah, wee willy winky, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're full of dicks today, Chief, my man.
Chief's like a bag of dicks. One thumb up for these smog balls.
Right on. One winky up.
Right, if we've got any listeners left who are here for the comic talk, I apologise for all that stuff in the first half an hour you've had to endure. Yes, it's time for comic talk.
It's comic talk, baby. Chief and Steve discussing like crazy. Larry Hama riding these bad boys, making sense of the wackiest toys. Listen as we talk about story arcs, making noise louder than Junkyard Box, talking about character motivations and all the various G.I. Joe fun locations.
Today we're discussing issues 201 and 202. Looking at the cover for 201, I've got the main one by Gallant and Brown. It is, what is that, the Rolling Thunder?
Yeah.
Coming towards the reader. Loads of Joes on it. Similar to that Mean Dog cover we had a while back in composition.
Similar as well to another famous cover.
Issue 1.
Yeah, Chief.
Yeah.
Nice, brother. Blockbuster 201st issue. I
on the
see
cover.
you. You're so clever. Even down to like the rather awkward Joe kind of leaping off the vehicle that doesn't seem to be on the same plane of existence. I mean, like, it was always weird to me, like Hawk, or was it Grunt? We can, have that debate perhaps. But on the cover of issue 1, he's kind of like, it's a very superhero thing. It's a very Kirby thing. Like, this character, I don't know what he's jumping off. He's just in a very dynamic pose, kind of suspended in the air. And the same thing with Falcon.
Yeah, and Falcon here is most definitely going to get run over, because that Rolling Thunder is not stationary. Well, or is it? I guess there's nothing to suggest the Rolling Thunder is moving.
Homeboy better, like, tuck and roll, is all I'm saying. Because taking that on his leading knee is going to do some damage. And the man's already been shot through the face.
Yeah. Have we seen Spirit ever using a bow and arrow as well?
I didn't think that was his weapon of choice at all.
No?
I mean, ironically, the figure came with like an arrow rifle, but it was still a rifle. You know, it had a rifle appearance and similar function. But bow and arrow, that's something new. It's a bit hilarious. Like, everything on the page is absolutely overpowered with firepower. Like, everyone's going full auto on some pretty heavy weapons. Even Mainframe has got the hog. I mean, I didn't take him for the heavy machine gunner type, but he's a Marine, so why the hell not? Yeah. But then there's Spirits. I'm like, I will do damage with my arrow.
I think Gallant's having a bit of fun, to be honest. I think he knows what he's doing because we've seen his interior work be phenomenal in terms of knowledge of the characters and the vehicles. So I think, he knows what he's doing there.
For sure.
I'm looking also on the inside cover of this issue. There's a Rob Liefeld cover, which obviously he's got the upcoming Snake Eyes miniseries. He is very much Marmite, Rob Liefeld. You either love his stuff or you hate his stuff. I don't think there's any fence sitting. But I had no idea he had done a cover back in April 2014 for G.I. Joe. That surprised me.
Marking his territory. He was like, one day, G.I. Joe, you will be mine. Roadblock definitely has got the sort of the balled up fist look and the cylindrical gun of no real world description.
Yes.
Snake Eyes' chest is enormous.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it's a Liefeld cover, all right. Marmite, yes, but Rob Liefeld, when he stepped onto the scene, was when he was at his best. That's when it was all so much more acceptable. But seeing him reinterpret G.I. Joe, it's kind of jarring, man. I want him to draw Cable with those weird spacey guns with, massive shoulder pads and pouches everywhere. You start applying those touches to G.I. Joe and I'm like, And then what is the third cover? It's like Snake Eyes issue 21 kind of repelling descent. Is that Big Ben with a Canadian flag in the background?
I've only got the small inset, so I can't really see, but I'll see if I can source it online and post it up.
It looks like he is literally saving the clock tower.
Right, okay.
Save the clock tower.
Well, I love it.
Goldie Wilson for mayor.
Now I've got to watch that. That is incredible.
Larry did a sketch for this issue as well for the cover, which just looks like a really mundane corridor scene if my eyes aren't failing me.
Yeah, or two people at a bar. It's not a bar they're at, is it? You're trying to order drinks. No, I don't know what that is. Strange. Let's move on to 202 quickly. I've got the Zartan fighting Baroness on the steps of the castle.
Love that. The only other cover was Larry's original sketch, in which you get a bit more insight into the characters' expressions. Zartan seems to have not got the upper hand. He's very much distressed. And Baroness looks like she's actually enjoying herself.
Yep.
She's got a smirk, which is very telling. The actual finish is far more aggressive, far more realistic. We don't get as much character out of Zartan because his face is obscured by his own shoulder. But I like this cover, Chief. I really do. And I like this scene.
Yeah, it's a good scene. It's a great scene. We'll get onto that. We better play a bit of catch-up. So, last time on A Real American Hero. While G.I. Joe handled a tricky situation in Sierra Gordo, Cobra Commander mobilized his troops and raided G.I. Joe's home base, The Pit. The remaining G.I. Joe members, joined by Scarlet and Snake Eyes, managed to beat back the Cobra menace until the rest of the team returned. As Cobra made their escape, Duke organized a pursuit against the fleeing enemies. Cobra Commander seemingly led a few Cobra vehicles to distract the heroes hot on their tail, and Duke found himself mano a mano with the head snake. Defeated but successfully covering for the rest of the fleeing villains, Cobra Commander fell, but was then revealed as an android decoy all along. Cobra lives to fight another day. Back at the pit, Joe Colton and Jane disclose some of the secrets of the pit to G.I. Joe. Interestingly, I chose to say Duke instead of Duke. Would you consider that to be two different names, or is that just a different pronunciation of the same name?
Jeez. Chief, I know I sometimes split hairs, but that's taking a little too far.
Okay, fine.
Duke and Duke. It just depends on how you want to lean in terms of enunciation.
Fine. I always, as a kid, said Duke. I've never said Duke until I think I started doing Talking Joe.
Well, I used to call Lieutenant Falcon LT Falcon.
Did you?
Yeah.
Incredible.
So now I've made a break with the past, and I just call him Falcon. But like,
or you call him Lieutenant Falcone.
They're very good, Chief. Yes. You're learning new tricks, old Chief Dog.
The first thing I want to say is, at the end of issue 200, we got Joe's staring in amazement at something, and like has been referenced by you and Chris on the last episode, what were they staring at that was so amazing?
Circumvented, man. It's like Larry keeps forgetting that he's led you right up to the door of this thing several times now, and then, like, there are other fires that need putting out.
I mean, are we led to believe that the reveal was just this door opening and a big long passage behind it?
Look, I think it's just that dramatic device where you keep... Like, everyone is in the story is learning the secret piecemeal, but the audience are the last to know.
Yeah.
I think it's a cheap parlor trick mainly because it just gives the writer more time to flesh these things out before the final reveal. Yes. But you're building the world in the meantime. It's not like the world of the comic book has stopped turning. It's just like, I want to keep this card close to the chest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's frustrating because we have to kind of forget about it each time.
Yes, of course. This issue kind of reminded me of some of the setup issues we've had previously, like 22, which was, I always forget what it's called. What's it called? Something like Chimney Sweepers.
Like Chimney Sweepers Come to Dust.
Yeah, absolutely. That one. And we've had a couple of those along the way. I had one quite recently, actually, as well, with Snake Eyes, where he's doing, the bare-chested grabbing fish out of the stream, which wasn't too long ago. But we've had a few over the whole run anyway. But this felt very much like a downtime kind of R&R, build up a few little subplots kind of issue.
Yeah, I'm never opposed to this because, the kind of action we've been getting is a little bit mindless at times. When it's not balls to the wall and really exciting and pulse pounding, some of it can be very paint by numbers, like G.I. Joe versus Cobra stuff. But these kind of world building exercises are cool, and they've got some neat little Easter eggs worked in. As I flick through, I'm seeing, is it on page, I don't know, depending on how you number them, page 3 or 4, there are 2 helicopters under wraps. The one in the background is the Night Attack helicopter, which is a Spy Troops toy from like the early 2000s. The one in the foreground looks a hell of a lot like Airwolf.
It does, yeah, it does.
Hey?
That'd be wicked.
That would be pretty cool if, like, the retired Airwolf helicopter found its way into G.I. Joe's vehicle inventory.
Okay, someone out there who does customs, get on that.
Yes, please.
My favourite line of dialogue is actually a couple of pages forward. It's Hawk, and he says he was sworn to total ultra secrecy. Not just total secrecy, total ultra secrecy. I mean, jeepers, what is that?
Fleer, ultra.
Yeah, that's some proper need to know shit right there.
Whatever. Adjective. And that segues nicely to the Phantom X-19 being catapulted up the ramp and into the sky.
Yes.
Love me some Phantom action. But it does bring into question, how the hell did they deploy fighters or interceptors before? Because they're going on about this catapult ejection system as something new, that's part of this kind of the new functions that the Pit 3 seems to have.
Yep.
But like I say, I mean, they definitely had Phantoms and Sky Strikers and jets, fast jets, headquartered beneath the sands in Utah. How did they launch them before? Did they have to, like, elevate them to the desert floor and then have, like, sort of a hidden runway on the desert itself?
Overall, it felt a little underwhelming in terms of all these new reveals about what the pit was, because in the back of my head, my imagination was kind of thinking, well, they had all this stuff anyway. I'm sure a lot of this stuff was secreted down in the lower levels of the pit anyway, so it just didn't feel like a holy moly moment in terms of look what they can do now, because I just assumed they had all these capabilities, like you said. They were able to launch jets previously, so what's the big deal?
Buddy, they were able to launch space shuttles.
Yeah,
I mean, like the pit, before all these so-called, taking the hidden features out of mothballs, like long before that, the pit had all these capabilities anyways.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's actually a Postbox the Pit letter in a future issue referring back to this point.
Okay.
asking like, how does G.I. Joe fund their expensive Defiant launch complex for what little use that it gets? And Larry just kind of puts that down, saying like, it's pretty tough to work that into a story, actually.
Yes.
You know, unless you're going to devote the story to a space adventure.
Yeah, and also, did he in the next few issues use the Defiant maybe to give it some more page? I don't know. When did Pale Peony get granted all this Joe access and be able to just drive a vehicle into the pit as well? I'm pretty sure she's still a semi-bad guy, isn't she, or not?
The last time she had dealings with G.I. Joe, she was working with Zartan and Road Pig, and they had Tunnel Rat as their prisoner. So, yeah. Chief, you called it, buddy. Pale Peony being allowed into the pit. Unfettered access.
Yeah.
Just because she's shacked up with Jinx. I mean, I'm getting some big, Thelma and Louise vibes from that couple.
Yeah, they're riding around, waving at everyone, kind of, driving fast, cracking wise through the desert. Yeah, and where's the alarm system here for the pit? Pretty state of the art, but this car manages to drive up unbeknownst to anyone. You know, they say, "Oh, what's this vehicle coming down the road here?" And next thing you know, that it's there, but no alarms triggered, no mobile pop-up defense armaments triggered.
Yeah, after they hyped all these sophisticated countermeasures into surveillance equipment. Yeah, no, it's something else, man.
Yeah.
And like Outback's just waving him through. I gave the lower checkpoints the heads up, Jinx. You and Pale Peony are good to go. He's even on like first name basis with this chick.
Even though this could be Zarana. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, in fact, a couple of issues previously, she was wearing Zorana's clothing. So you're absolutely right, man. This could be a deep infiltration move.
What's your general views on... it's not even an issue, it's not even a thing, but this issue, Larry name checks pretty much every Joe that's on the page. So when they skid down, say hey to Dusty and Frostbite. And then I think later on there's reference to when they go to Storm Shadow's dojo and each member of the team... he talks about Muskrat, and then he says it was quite a good dojo in its day, long range, and then someone else says Lock, Steel, Door, Alpine. So is that purely just to remind readers who everyone is, or is it maybe the 201st issue, so maybe new readers have jumped on to give new readers an idea of who's who?
Chief, you know what it feels like to me? It feels like the writing staff and the art staff trying to tell the readership that, look, we still know who these guys are.
Right.
They're trying to reassure us that they're on top of the roster. Because we know who these guys are.
Yeah.
Like, the readership of this book, I think, are pretty much the diehard G.I. Joe fans.
Yeah. I guess it's easier to misplace characters like this as opposed to a book like The Avenger of the X-Men or the JLA, where if you see a character in panel, you don't need to name check it because I know what Aquaman looks like, I know what the Flash looks like, I know what Wonder Woman looks like. Whereas here, potentially some of these characters who, like you said, haven't been seen for a long time, if they're a smallish figure on the panel, sometimes it might not be as easy to reference who that character is. Although, having said that, looking at all the images, like you said, I'm pretty sure diehard fans will easily be able to say name check all the characters without the help from the narration bubble.
Yeah, Chief, I'm just going to stick with my guns and say that it's like, as I say, the creative staff on the book, just saying, we know who these guys are. Okay, don't jump down our throats. We know who each of these characters are.
Yeah. One thing that did make sense, as I said previously, all these improvements and features of the pit felt a bit underwhelming. What did make sense, finally, they've acknowledged that we need more bases. So they've said, let's get a small headquarters in San Francisco and New York, which makes sense and probably should have been implemented a long time ago. Mm-hmm. You can't be a fast response action team if all your team is based in Utah.
But do you think that perhaps reactivating old bases is the best way to go? It's like Cobra moving back to Cobra Island, or Springfield for that matter.
Yeah.
It's like, the Joes haven't seen us in our old hood in a long time. I bet they've forgotten all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, I mean, it's a nice touch. I will always have a fondness, as most Joe fans will, for the original pit. Just that location, the neatness of it. apparently there was actually a base,
Right.
a Fort Wadsworth base. I think it's been decommissioned,
Okay.
but it would be really neat as a Joe fan to just stroll around
Yeah,
the
man.
grounds. Hey, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. We do need to probably just chat, maybe briefly or not so briefly, about the sneak peek bit where he goes to the care home to retrieve the remains of his dead mother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. As with a lot of these scenes where it's kind of tugging on emotions, Larry does maybe overly lean into new characters having some kind of military background. So we find out that the funeral director was a Marine, and that seems to be something he does quite a lot. I'm not saying it's overused, but it feels like we see that quite a lot from Larry. Is that fair to say or not?
Yeah, sure, and it's something that it's sentiment that is very evident in American society about respecting veterans and there kind of being a band of brothers. And even as a civilian who's never had any kind of military service in my life, it does tug at my heartstrings. I have a lot of respect for these sequences.
Yeah.
That, like, there's an understanding, there's a kind of a gentleman's code amongst men and women who've served, and they get it. And sneak peek situation is something that a veteran would understand. That it's like, there's certain things that you can't disclose about your service, or there's certain things that I can't disclose about my service, and I cannot give you proof of my whereabouts or my link to this woman, but it's my mother, and I'd really like to take possession of the body, please.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard, man. It's a hard scene and well played. So no, I quite like it, Chief. Why did it bug you? Is it a recurring motif that you've grown tired of?
No, maybe a little bit, but I thought it was done well. I thought, it is good writing, and seeing the emotion from sneak peek is good. And
it's nice that a downtime issue like this has some serious emotional content to it.
Yeah, most
because
definitely.
What was so nice about, obviously, like Chimney Sweepers Come to Dust, is it deals with 3 laying to rests. The big pomp and ceremony for General Flagg, the very personal moment for Quinn and Snake Eyes, and then the very like almost arbitrary and pauper's burial for Dr. Venom. Just these 3 tiers of like military royalty, close personal friendship, and then irredeemable baddie who got his comeuppance. Like here we have only one death, but like perhaps the most personal of all. It's the death of a mother, and one who like fell into senility while her boy was basically KIA and off the books. Sneak peek, for a character that's maligned for being a forgotten dead Joe, has now redeemed himself as being like this kind of emotional center to the book.
Yeah, I think it's good placement in this issue and as part of the run as well, because we obviously had the kind of balls to the wall issue 200 battle, which is a lot of, take your phrase, a lot of pomp and ceremony of Cobra Commander actually being a Blue Ninja or a CBX unit and all that kind of over-the-top fighting stuff. We've got a downtime.
I still think that was a decoy.
Okay.
Yeah. In spite of your arguments about Cobra and Revanche not having their, well, obviously not having their alliance by then, Cobra had some pretty sophisticated AI and battle android. Like, they produced a character called Overkill, who was an advanced battle android trooper.
Okay.
Far too expensive to field en masse. But they left the prototype as an active member of Cobra to act as a sort of a bat leader.
Yes.
So, and look, I mean, I know Trimpy's work might step outside of Harmer canon, but like, I mean, you and Chris poked fun at it at the time, and I was once again screaming into my radio. But issue 119 by Herb Trimpy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where they have those like robot impersonation robots.
Yep.
Robot impersonation. Those impersonation robots.
They're all those like the Nick Fury LMDs, life model decoys.
Basically, yeah. And like, what was it? They had.
They had Reagan, didn't they, and Bush?
Was it
and,
no, it was Bush and
Idi Amin, was it, or something, or Saddam Hussein?
who's the boxing promoter with the white hair?
Don
King.
Don King, yeah.
Like, and there was some military general of the time with like reject stamped across his head.
Yeah.
And just to round out my point, I mean, the Cobra Commander decoy was in play against the Blue Ninja.
Right, okay, in issue
001.
179,
That's,
right, okay.
That's my belief, man.
Okay,
'Cause-
all right, fine.
You know, throwing himself in front of RPGs, there's your explanation right there.
Yeah.
And they even go into it, and in the old, the issue 200, Cobra Commander's like, did you reset the loquacious, I forget the exact word, but like it's about the fact that decoy has a tendency to speak too much during combat.
Right. Okay, yeah.
And Mindbender's like, no, we didn't have time to reset those protocols.
Yeah.
So, very wordy combat.
Yeah. One bit I didn't understand was the Roadblock bit in this issue. So Rock and Roll's bringing him some fried egg sandwiches. Out from behind the screen pops Hawk, and he gives them to Hawk, and he says, I'll put them with the rest. And you see a big tray, a big pile of sandwiches that people have been bringing him. And I'm not really sure what this scene is trying to tell me.
That everybody is wishing him well by cooking for him.
No, but when did he get injured? He got injured was this on the...
Sierra Gordo.
Sierra Gordo, yes.
The CBXs, they stitched him across the chest with an AK-47.
Ah, yes, of course, he just took a chest shot, didn't he? But Hawk's just obviously loitering around, chatting to him.
You'd think Hawk would have better things to do. Like, I'm sure he's a very busy man. He's overseeing 3 bases being reactivated.
And also, why doesn't Roadblock just want to eat these goddamn sandwiches? Just eat the sandwiches,
well, buddy,
man.
this is a running joke and a new one. Because remember Roadblock on mission to Darklonia?
Yeah.
He kept offering everyone these fried egg sandwiches, and everyone kept declining. Well, now that everyone's offering him fried egg sandwiches, he keeps declining. It's like no one's eating these damn fried egg sandwiches.
Okay. Yeah, I missed that. I think this joke falls flat for me.
Big time.
Pointless 2 pages in my mind. But anyway.
Look, at least we're seeing the consequence of Roadblock getting hit. He's in hospital. He's not on active duty. It's not a Falcon situation where, you get shot in the face. 2 issues later, you're back in the command center.
Yep.
Giving the orders.
Another question for you. In Fort Wadsworth, so the Joes are now NADA, Necrotic Armaments Defense Administration. And who are these guys? Some guys rock up, the engineer detachment at Hamilton across the bridge. And they're looking at a plaque or a bit of signage on the wall. This is the Roll of Honour, the KIAs. And they say it looks like 2 names got erased. So I guess one is Sneak Peek. Who are they referring? Who's the other name that was presumed dead but now not dead?
For the life of me, I can't recall.
Okay, mystery.
Maybe something. Yeah, maybe something Harmon's playing close to the chest, or maybe I'm just being an idiot.
Yeah, maybe we'll get that reveal in issue 300.
Someone will just be randomly in the canteen. Oh man. Well, look, we have seen a character that looked like Crankcase.
Right.
And also, spoilers, Crankcase is resurrected by mistake in art and in name in a future issue. And this caused a stink recently. So maybe this is like an escape clause that Harmer built into the run.
Love it. So he could bring anyone back if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is placeholder. This like mysterious other resurrected Joe.
Very cool.
just in case I slip up again.
Yeah. This issue actually has postbox to the pit in it.
Mm-hmm.
And one guy, I just want to read out one letter here. Dear Larry and team, may I humbly request casualties? I know G.I. Joe is a fantasy, but some deaths would help show the conflict isn't just fun and games. Okay.
What an asshole.
Then he goes on to say...
What does this guy know?
Yeah, then he goes on to say, new recruits, Mercer, Copperhead, any Cobras that could please replace Dr. Mindbender. Okay, interesting.
He wants people to die? There's been a huge death count.
Yeah,
Is this guy smoking something?
And his last one is, I'd love some more speciality Vipers. I love Cobra Troops, all of them. And that is Matt Lone Wolf Cashel. And Larry said there will be a character death very, very soon.
The character deaths in every issue by my count. I mean, even this one where no shots are fired, like Sneak Peek's mother's dead. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Phrase it so poorly as well. May I humbly request casualties?
Yeah, that's bad.
gross. I'm sorry. Let me not shit all over this guy, but I have to. I mean, Chief, you read it out. Where were you going with that?
No, it was just an interesting. I just thought it was an interesting letter for IDW to print, and
well, douchebag. Sorry, Matt Cashel, if you're a listener of Talking Joe, feel free to come at me, man. But I think you're out of line, pal. There have been plenty of casualties.
Yeah,
Chief, what do you think of Hawk being a brunette?
Where's this?
Well, there's an inset on the letters page, but throughout this issue, he's a brunette. And quite a nicely receded hairline. I mean, he's definitely looking his age. He's looking more distinguished.
I've got no problem with that. That's fine.
Good. Yeah. My first and favourite Hawk action figure had brown hair.
Yeah, that's fine. I would always say his hair was brown anyway. That would be my go-to response or preferred look anyway. So, can we go to issue 202?
By all means, unless you want to make it a one-issue podcast.
Yeah. Issue 202, page 2, Zartan is clearly dead. That is a broken neck, man, surely.
I thought we were watching a PSA at this point. I was like, geez, always remember your helmet.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
And then Roadblock, he gets backed over by a truck. He should be dead as well. Anyway,
definitely applying some comic book physics here. I mean, if Zarana's not dead, at the very least, she's got road rash all over her face and her cleavage.
Yes.
Like, she's going to be wide open, bro.
Yeah. So
torn to pieces.
The deal here is there's two ladies in a car, and they've kind of ambushed Zarana and Road Pig and really put a heavy smackdown on both of them, and they smash her on the back of the head and knock her out. And they say she should thank us for giving her anesthesia before dragging her on a broken femur. I mean, who are these two females? I've read the issue actually yesterday, not even today, but I'm not even sure. Are they name checked or referenced anywhere else in the issue, or are they just two random Cobra operatives?
No, and they're not name checked or I mean, if my memory serves, they are one and done characters.
Okay,
they're just totally brutal, totally out of left field Cobra female agents who look dead sexy but are ruthless as all hell, and they just disappear into the ether. I remember when I first read this not liking the sequence for its extreme, like, gratuitous violence and like unrealistic violence. Like, it's so hardcore, like it would definitely kill Zarana and Road Pig.
Yes.
These situations are always supposedly created in ways where a human being could, by some miracle, survive. Yeah. You know, like a grenade goes off in front of you, you manage to scramble for cover in time. It's conceivable you'll make it. You'll have some hearing loss, but you could survive. Here, just the level of violence meted out on these two characters, I'm like, no, man.
It's a bit too much.
It's a superhero book at this point.
Because it's something we haven't seen. Had it have occurred in a IDW Cobra book, then
there would be bloodshed to the point where you would have casualties.
But it might have been more, at place. It might have been a home for it, maybe. But in the regular book, it just feels a little bit out of place. What their MO is, I guess they've kidnapped Zarana for the purpose of blackmailing Zartan to say, if you want Zarana alive still, you need to dispatch Destro. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, that stitches together. Sure.
And what's ultimately Cobra Commander's motive there for wanting Destro dead?
I don't know, man, but he should sick these two females on Destro.
Yeah, forget about Zartan. Get these two ladies on him.
Zartan has been kind of ineffectual of late.
Yep.
These girls know how to get it done.
Yeah. Love the scene of Cobra Commander in the dentist chair with Mindbender.
Yeah, man, he's still rocking the same like mufti that he got out of that closed down shopping mall.
Yeah, love
back
that scene.
Gosh, what was it, in the 50s of the run?
55, I think, unmasked. Yeah.
You're incredible, Chief. Wow, well done.
And I remember a while back, Cobra Commander, when he was saying now is the time for us to press forward, I think, when they were exiting the pit. But now he's saying all our agents are going to be going into hiding, into deep cover. So what does he want to do? Does he want to press forward, or does he want to go into sleeper agent territory? I'm not sure.
Which is something that Cobra's agenda has always been, hasn't it? I mean, he's making these statements in these scenes like he's saying something new. I think Cobra Commander's gone a little bit delirious.
Yeah, I think he has.
At this point. Yeah. He's hatched the same schemes so many times, he's forgotten that those original schemes are still in play.
Yeah.
We just keep on treading out the same old. I don't know, man. I've been infected by Chris's his lament in episode 80 that we are seeing a continual going back to the well, which is unfortunate because I look at my desk, Chief, and on my desk I see a myriad of wonderful toys, each with a story to be told, and not many of them having had that story told. I pick up a figure called Targat, and forgive me, I'm going to try and remember the acronym out of memory, but is he the Trans-Atmospheric Global Assault Trooper? Something like that. Or Re-Entry Assault Trooper. Regardless, I was thinking about this guy today, thinking, holy shit, these dudes are Destro's guys, but they must be... I mean, it must be a job title that just attracts the biggest adrenaline junkies in the world.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember back in 2012 when that dude, sponsored by Red Bull, basically fell out of low orbit.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. That's these guys.
That's these guys. They free fall from space. And not only do they do that, which is something worthy of the Guinness Book of Records anyway, in the annals of like extreme human achievement, but then they go on to wage war, to assault a target, to engage in combat once they're on the ground. Like, that's mind-blowing stuff, and that would make for a great miniseries.
Yeah. I'm on board there.
Tell a story about the Targets.
Let's do it. Let's start the petition.
It's an opportunity for some amazing visuals. I mean, imagine the sequence of like descending from the upper atmosphere. Yeah, low orbit, basically. The playground of satellites and space shuttles.
Wicked.
So wicked, man. The edge of space with the Target.
Yeah, there you go. Let's get a story on that guy.
Expensive is what they are. Jeez.
Interesting to hear that G.I. Joe have entered some kind of agreement or a deal with MI5, which is a UK operation. UK
I love the fact that they have
detachment.
problems with surveillance within the United States, but MI5, their powers are unrestrained.
Yes.
I mean, this issue is what, 2014? Am I right?
Correct.
So the Patriot Act would have been deactivated by then. Right. So the kind of expanded surveillance powers that the US government had after 9/11 had been kind of scaled back.
Yeah.
So this is very much like Larry kind of incorporating that in comic books. And I like that. It's a real world concern. G.I. Joe, in spite of them being these super ultra top secret hush-hush elite guys, they're still restrained by the rule of law, and illegal surveillance is a no-no.
And this is just purely to spy on Destro, I guess.
Yeah. And Cobra, for that matter. You know, if Cobra now kind of dissolve Rancho Cobra and then kind of re-enter society, G.I. Joe would have to get surveillance warrants on individuals.
We have a new Larry Hama-ism.
Oh, play that jingle.
I'm hearing the same things over and over again. It's like we're trapped, incarcerated, locked down, in a bind, stuck in a prism.
Hey, what you talking about, Chief? It's just a Larry Hama-ism.
So in issue 201, we heard when the stealth fighter launched, he was going to do a racetrack pattern of flight. And here, Scarlet says about the drone, it's pre-programmed to fly a racetrack pattern. So Larry just lifting an exact phrase he used one issue prior and sticking it in this one. So there's a new Larry Hama-ism for you.
Mm-hmm. Racetrack pattern with a sucking chest wound.
Yeah, there you go.
20 Mike on the guns.
But this drone, which is disguised as a bird of prey, is not disguised well enough to fool Destro or the Baroness, because he spots that puppy. He actually says that falcon circulating above us is not peregrinating correctly at all. It's flying pattern exactly like a military aircraft on combat air patrol. Blam, and he shoots it down. So no more racetrack patterns, please, for anyone flying drones.
Get your dictionaries, kids.
Yeah, get your peregrinating
correctly. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I laugh now, but the real reason why I speak such highfalutin English is because of Mr. Larry Harmer. The man schooled me. I was poring over his crazy words since the age of 8.
You got it. On that next page, after Baroness and Destro have shot down that bird, you see Zartan with the
Very expensive drone. Even down to like the authentic feathers.
You see Zartan with the compound bow. Do you like Zartan's kind of underhood Batman cowl he's got on?
It's the first time I've noticed it. Yeah, man, those aren't facial tattoos or anything of that the sort. It seems he does have a... Yeah, dude, it does look like Bale.
Yeah.
Except the nose is peeking out a little bit. Like his fleshy
bit,
nose.
But that's clearly not a shadow or anything, is it? That is clearly an underhood mask of some variety.
True.
Yeah.
It's at this point which I'd like to point out that Zartan used a bow to frame up Storm Shadow.
Correct.
He used a bow with an arrow that he retrieved from that squirrel that got shot through the wall.
Yes.
Right? Bam. It was a frame-up job. That's why he used bow and arrow.
Yes.
But ever since then, it has become canonically his weapon of choice. He used it to stalk Ripcord. He used it to kill Serpentor. But I don't know if I'm on side with that. It was a means to an end in the assassination of the Hardmaster.
Has any of his action figures come with that weapon?
Yes, but not the classic one. It clearly wasn't part of his kind of character spec early on.
No.
He came with a sort of a laser pistol. But the bow finds its way into his Ninja Force action figure. This sort of wicked, cool lime green pants and orange mohawk Zartan. Have you ever seen this action figure in your life, Chief?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So he did have a bow, but then again, it was a accessory tree bow, so you had to clip it off the tree. This is like a cost-cutting measure where G.I. Joes stopped coming with unique weapons.
Right.
They just came with generic trees of weapons that you'd have to cut off the plastic sprues.
Yep.
So it never felt like it was specifically his bow. In fact, it was a remold of Storm Shadow version 2's bow.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's never really kind of jived with my idea of Zartan, that he's always armed with a bow. I mean, he would have been able to take the shot on Destro had he had a high-powered rifle.
Yes.
And I imagine Zartan equally at home with a high-powered rifle.
Of course.
Hell, even Storm Shadow unpacks a sniper rifle in issue 24, The Commander Escapes.
Right.
And the ARAH shun
Spot.
modern firearms.
Yeah.
But he, it was a means to an end. And he's a killer.
There you go. Before we talk about the Bestro, the Baroness Zartan rumble in the castle, very, very quickly, we hear about a guy, Road Pig, in the hospital, and they reference him as Donald Calicak. We have reason to believe he's really Donald DeLuca.
Ah.
We've never actually heard Donald's full name in the comic before, but I wonder what he was referenced as on a file card, maybe.
Donald DeLuca.
Right, okay.
Yeah, man. We've had his first name dropped.
Yes.
In distinguishing him from Road Pig persona and Donald persona. But this Donald Calicak, is that, I suppose it's
an alias, yeah.
An alias, of course.
Yeah. Back in Scotland, I love the whole of this scene from the first page it starts, where you've got Destro in his command centre, and he's got his hands out, and he's got all these glowing yellow kind of holographic tech screens that he's keying stuff onto. Love all that.
He's Tony Stark in it.
That's it. He's Tony Starking it up, and then you've got Robbie McLeod has come in, but he's not limping correctly. So obviously we've got Zartan, and then it plays out.
Buddy, this comes back to me saying that Zartan is inept.
Yeah.
He cannot fool Destro or the Baroness anymore.
No.
Like, whether it's back in was it Trucial Abysmia, trying to like pretend to be an Iron Grenadier, and Destro's like, your Scottish accent sucks, Zartan. Get out of here.
Yep.
And now he fails to see something as obvious as a character's limp. Like, I'm a hack actor, and I can still, notice when someone has a physical defect.
Hey, you're no hack.
Come
man.
on.
Come on.
Well, you'll never know now, Chief.
Love all this bit where he's coming up the stairs and he's talking about, this sinister turret because it's built to advantage of left-handed defenders.
Love that.
Yeah, love all that stuff.
Love
a
little bit of like technical detail dropping. We live for moments like that with Larry's work.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just so cool, man. This sort of European swordplay. What is it called? I don't know. European martial arts, or HEMA is what they call it sometimes. But
Is it? Okay.
the sort of the short sword, or the dagger, and
Right.
the
I
is that a
watch.
rapier?
I watch. Basically, I have 2 weeks off every 4 years, or 16 days off every 4 years to watch the Olympics. And I take the whole time off work, and I watch it from like 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. at night, and I watch everything. And
Not this year, you're not.
watched a lot of watched a lot of fencing. And there's 3 different blades in the fencing. There's the foil, the saber, and the epee. And so I'm trying to determine what kind. I think this is the saber that they've got here.
And the style of combat with the 2 blades, like it's obviously distinguished from sword and buckler.
Yes.
But it's got the same concept of blocking with the one blade and attacking with the other.
Striking
I
with the
imagine.
other, yeah.
You wanna use the blade with the reach to kind of disengage the opponent's blade, and then go for the stab with the short dagger. I don't know. Obviously, my sword fighting days were brief in number.
Yeah.
But this is so cool, Chief, and the art seems to be so exciting as well. Just the lighting effect.
He's come alive here, hasn't he, Grant? Yeah.
The flame on the sort of the brazier, or the torch. Zartan's, like, the effect that he uses to change from McLeod to Zartan is so cool, because it enshrouds him in shadow. It's not overly cartoonish. I recall, like, back in the early days, the approaches to Zartan's illusions being kind of like done with bubbles and weird shapes and colors. But this is subtle, and I love it.
Yep. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And the whole scene kind of plays out and ends with Destro taking off his mask and kind of handing it to Zartan, because
only after Baroness thoroughly hands Zartan his ass.
Yeah, exactly. What are they going to do at that stage? Zartan's defeated almost. And what are they going to do with him? But Destro, ever the schemer and planner, he could just throw Zartan in the dungeon, or kick him out, or even kill him, because of the Iron Grenadiers have popped in now, guns trained on Zartan. Destro can do with him what he will. But, he says, what degree of proof does Cobra Commander demand? It is much more difficult to transport severed heads on international flights these days, Not a good gag. He wants your mask, then he shall have it. So, there you go, he hands it over. So interesting to see how that's going to play out and what Destro's plans are. And then the last page, we cut back to Zarana, who is now awake, and Mindbender's leaning over, and she's trying to instill the fear of God in Mindbender by saying, Donald/Road Pig, who was in hospital, broken legs, broken ribs, he is going to stop at nothing to get me back. So,
Lordy.
There we go. And
healing factor.
I've got, as I turn over, I've got the cover to the next issue, and it's an absolute corker.
I never look ahead, but I'm gonna do myself the service and have a
I
laugh
didn't look ahead. It's just that I'm reading this in a new
of course,
custom
you're in
bind.
Your bind.
I'm reading I'm reading a new custom bind starting with issue 201, and in this bind I started including Postbox to the Pit letters, which I hadn't done previously, and on the other side of the Postbox to the Pit letter of issue 202, it's printed the cover to next issue. So I'm not actually looking at the cover to next issue. It's a preview of it, but it's a lovely one. Love it.
Worth a laugh.
Yes.
In conclusion, nice touch. The references to the previous invasions of Cobra on Castle Destro. That Destro recalls the time when a bunch of Cobra Commander's fake gypsies tried to invade.
That was brilliant.
Which was issue 87.
Yeah, Tony Salmon art, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Marmite once again.
Yep.
But not to be confused with issue 116. Oh, man.
Yeah.
The first one was Assault on Castle Destro.
Yes.
The second instance is Destro Must Die.
Yes.
Both of them involve similar assaults on the Castle Destro, the sort of hide in plain sight, move Cobra assets into position.
Yeah. That was the return of Rod Wiggum and our art duties as well for those ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right.
Stunning. Yeah, man, I really love the detail in that issue. Jeez, no one draws tomahawks and Cobra transport helicopters like Mr. Wiggum, definitely.
Yeah. Can we Yo-Jo 201 as a solo issue and then wait to see where 202 plays out?
Sure, yeah. 201's a 7 out of 10 kind of issue for me.
You mark that down on the pad. 7 Yojo Colas.
Oh, no, I actually need to kind of moderate my scores.
Okay.
This is a departure from the lofty highs of the Red Shadows and Chuckles Goes Ballistic. So
Yep.
it's actually going to be a 6.
Okay. Chief is coming in with 6.5.
6.5, okay. We're kind of the same mind there. I mean, they're just things that are, like, kind of loosey-goosey about it. Pale Peony's a big one, I must say.
Yep.
The redeeming factor is, for me, the Mrs. King is dead sequence.
Yes. Good stuff. We will be covering 203, 204 on next episode. But right now, we need to talk about toys.
Steve talks about toys, ho ho. Steve talks about G.I. Joe. He talks about all the toys from the comic book and the animated show. Steve talks about toys. Steve talks about toys. Steve talks about toys. Steve talks about toys.
What you got up your sleeve, F-Jubs?
What you gonna guess, Chief? What you gonna guess?
Oh, yeah. Chief has to guess. So looking at these two issues, I think we've had Roadblock before. Ooh, Spirit played quite a big part here. He is in the shortlist, Spirit Iron Knife. Well, he played a part, I guess, in the opening of 201, which we didn't really talk about. Who else have we got? Have we spoken about Zarana? I don't think Zarana's made an appearance on this show. Spirit or Zarana? I'm going with Zarana.
You're in the right faction. You're even
Okay.
in the right family.
Okay. Could it be as simple as V1's Zartan?
Bingo!
And then I may need to run over to my toy box.
You've got V1 Zartan.
No, I don't know. I can't remember. That's what I'm saying. I don't look in the box. And we are going to do a special on Talking Joe where I am not doing any more digging around. I am just going to get the box in front of me. Me and S-Jubs will start not a live video feed, but we'll do a video recording of me just having the box, opening it up, putting my hand in, pulling out stuff, and S-Jubs can talk me through the figures, or we'll talk about the figures, or I'll put the camera on the box and he'll say left, right, like one of those things you get in the arcade with the grabber. You put your 50p in and it goes left, right, and you try and down and grab a toy.
That
so
is
we'll do that.
out
We'll
of
do that.
control. Cool, dude. For the
Yeah.
listeners' benefit, Chief has not given me any kind of inside info on this other than Chief's toy box or treasure box or whatever. So the fact that I'm going to be directing your grabbing claw, that's
Yeah.
so cool, Chief. Rad.
You're hearing it as the first time as the listeners. So in on the ground floor, everyone.
So I don't know if you want to have a scratch or you want to leave it.
No,
best-
let's leave it. I'm not gonna look in the box.
Good. I hope your nostalgia for this figure is strong because mine certainly is.
Yes.
Master of Disguise, codename Zartan. File name unknown. Aliases too numerous to list. Birthplace unknown. Zartan can alter his skin color at will to blend in with his environment. He's also a master of makeup and disguise, a ventriloquist, a linguist, over 20 languages and dialects, an acrobatic contortionist, and a practitioner of several mystic martial arts. Very little is known of his background and origins, but most security agencies agree that he must have had European military academy training, probably St. Cyr. Psychological profile, extreme paranoid schizophrenic. Grows into various multiple personalities to such an extent that the original personality becomes buried and forgotten. What a fascinating character portrait that paints.
Yes. Now I know he is one of your faves,
But
if not your fave.
It is my fave. I mean, he is such a great story yet to be told. Let's be perfectly
You
frank.
can do anything with him, really, can't you?
And his psychological instability is something that has been swept under the rug. Like, he seems to be very much together and with it. We never see the cracks in his mask. But then again, he's never been given a spotlight, an adequate spotlight.
Yeah.
You know, he's a supporting character in the big mythology of the Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Arashikage Dojo world, and the kind of the origins of Cobra. But he only plays bit parts. We never see insight into Zartan. the roster's just too big at this stage. Here I am trying to make arguments for writing miniseries about Targats, and we've got like a superstar, like legacy character like Zartan, who is still a fucking iceberg, man. And I'm not talking about 1986 iceberg, if you please.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a toy as well. Okay, aside from the fact that he's a vehicle driver, came with a sort of a personal vehicle, he just has a fascinating loadout of equipment. And features, action features that don't interfere with the classic O-ring G.I. Joe construction to a point. I'll get into that. But let me just count the features first.
Yes, please.
Okay, removable armor portions or pads or holographic projectors, if you want to call them that, which was something quite new for G.I. Joe back in 1984. The fact that you could remove pieces of a figure's actual clothing, attire, that had some mystique to it. But then the fact that there were transparent panels set into those armor portions, which then you could apply color-changing stickers to. Mind-blowing. Okay, so that's a whole slew of features already. The figure's skin changes color in the sun, so it is photochromatic, as opposed to changing color according to temperature, which I think is thermochromatic. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a distinction there to be drawn. And for some reason, it's such a sturdy mechanism that to this day, my Zartans still are able to do it. Whereas I look at my Eco Warriors figures, which have battle damage, which apparently is supposed to go brighter in cold water. But that stuff is broken, man. It is foobar. It never disappears. It's always present. So Zartan, whatever they used, that plastic is incredible. It also has a kind of a more rubbery feel. It's less brittle. I imagine his thumbs are less breakable as a result. He has the Jesus visage. I mean, why impersonate McCloud? You could just impersonate the Messiah and just waltz into Castle Destro, assuming, Destro's devout. It's an interesting look, and one that, there are limitations in play. They couldn't kind of create an actual face mask like Mission Impossible style, but it's not a bad approximation. The commercial is particularly hilarious, where Zartan puts on this mask, and the Joes who have been pursuing him up to this point are like, hey mister, where's Zartan? Zartan? I don't know any Zartan. Amazing. And the backpack opens up to reveal the face mask. So one could play that is his, once again, Mission Impossible-esque face-making technology. Neat doodad. And for my money, he's got the second best pistol the classic G.I. Joe run ever yielded.
Oh, wow.
Surpassed only by Destro's classic piece.
Yep.
Chief, your memories about Zartan, if you please.
Yeah, had him pretty much straight away. So as soon as that was released in the UK, remember getting that.
Your Chameleon must have had the Action Force stickering. So it had kind of
yes,
orange and red striping.
Correct, yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Did it change colour in the sun? The vehicle?
I think it did. I think it changed shades of green, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Had that, loved that figure. Can't remember having the gun that long. I think that probably got lost very early on, unfortunately.
Too bad, buddy.
Yes. But loved the construction of the swamp skimmer with the fact that, the rear skis could change from kind of long to short.
I don't know if that was an intentional feature. I think that was just Chief being industrious and rearranging the clips.
No, I thought the clips had like a hinge joint on them. No,
Chief, on this score, you know more than me, pal. I've never owned a Chameleon. Yeah,
I could be wrong. Might still have it.
The vehicle itself was designed to be broken down.
All right, I am actually going to go and have a look. Now you've intrigued. I've got to go to the soy box.
Right on.
He's an evil master of disguise. Zartan changes color right before your eyes. Zartan.
Introducing Zartan. Zartan changes color in sunlight.
There's Zartan! He's escaping in the Chameleon! Let's go get him! Yo, Joe!
Zartan has a disguise.
Where's Zartan? I don't know any Zartan.
Zartan changes color in sunlight, and Zartan comes with the chameleon. Other figures and equipment each sold separately from Hasbro.
So basically what I'm saying is I have found a swamp skimmer in my box. It's got a radioactive sticker on the back, like a yellow triangle. Anyway, suffice to say, that was the first thing at the top of the box, so I didn't look through the box too hard. That picture has now, or that video is now sent, so have a look at that. I found this. There you go. Which, as he's playing it. See from the video.
Man, Groundhog Day.
Like that.
Chief, she looks to be in beautiful shape, man. Just
No,
missing
the handlebars are
handlebars,
missing, yeah.
Of course, but
They might be in the box somewhere.
maybe. Cool. No, that's awesome. It's quite a fragile piece. So the fact that she's actually looking intact, it's a credit to the way you played, man. You definitely took a lot of respect with your toys.
But
and
yeah.
I can see your exposed legs. You definitely aren't wearing trousers, my friend. What do you think of the chameleon signature kind of sticker? Nice touch?
Nice touch. Never really kind of looked at it until now, till you've kind of pointed it out. It was just when I was a kid, it was just a sticker I placed on the vehicle.
You'll see a better image of it in the box art. It's like a sort of tiger stripe chameleon riding a lightning bolt. Nice.
Yeah. Strong.
That's crazy, man. And it's a sort of a one and done design. It's not like a Cobra symbol or a Joe symbol. Like, this is so unique and then just forgotten to the mists of time.
And interesting, I know the backpack with the face mask, I know that was kind of Zartan's thing in a way, but that could have easily been adapted to other characters. Interesting that well, and again, I could be speaking out of turn because I don't know everything about the toys by any means. You better tell me. But for me, my knowledge, interesting that I never saw other figures with kind of face masks you could put over their faces, or even the colour changing stuff. It seemed to be isolated just to that figure.
Well, about the colour changing feature, you're wrong there, because it's something that his family share in common.
Right, okay, didn't know that. I never had any other member of his family.
Zartan, Zarana, and Xandar, they all have the ability to turn blue in sunlight. Something that was omitted on the cartoon series and the comic book. But the toys definitely made it genetic, you know? Clearly this family's lineage...
So when you say turn blue, do you mean the flesh parts of the character?
Yes.
Okay.
A few interesting things to note about Zartan in terms of the color change feature. For some reason, they saw fit to fuse the body halves together. So unscrewing Zartan, Zarana, or Xandar will have no effect. You would have to get in with a blade and cut the adhesive or sonic weld or whatever they use to jam those two halves together. You'd have to cut through that to take them apart in order to replace the O-ring. Troublesome. I have done it on a Zarana, and the Xandar that was recently sent to me apparently is the recipient of a rubber band transfusion after a bisection.
Right, okay.
So he's been cracked open, which is good to know because he is tight now. It's wonderful. The other interesting thing to note historically is that the references on Zartan's original file card to him being a paranoid schizophrenic caused a huge palaver in the United States with parents groups. They were like, what? You're including a mental illness on the biography of a kid's toy? This can't stand. So they excised that from the file card shortly afterwards. And it was pulled and replaced with nothing, in fact. The last fun fact on Zartan and their various versions, we spoke about his Ninja Force version earlier on in the pod, which you apparently have some dealings with. Fun.
I think Chris covered that on one of the Toy Talk ones.
Oh, yes, he did. Fantastic. Good. Well, I'm glad we can bookend with the old school. But if you flick forward to 2009 and the movie Rise of Cobra, the mummy, Arnold Vosloo, played Zartan. So I am so tickled that a South African played Zartan. I'm like, yes!
Very good.
Score one for SA. Zartan is an amazing figure and an amazing character and a wealth of possibility that has yet to be explored.
Yep, great stuff. That was a really good one this week. Enjoyed that. And I'm not going to dig into the box to see if I've still got Zartan. We will save that for the video special, and that should be good. That should be a good one.
He's licking his chops in anticipation, let me tell you.
His chops.
Oh, toys.
Listen,
toys.
we've talked comics, we've talked toys, we've been inside my mind, and now it's time to confuse people because it's time for Commonwealth colloquialisms, aka over egg in the pudding.
We got a pudding. We got a pudding. We're gonna over egg that pudding. Ain't got no criticisms. We got some Commonwealth colloquialisms. Pudding,
Mate, what's a
pudding,
texter?
pudding.
A texter.
Over egg that
Texta.
Yeah.
It's not going to be someone who's glued to their phone sending text messages. That's too easy.
Good one.
Texter. This is in Australian,
Correct.
because you gave it to me in that accent. Texter.
My really crawdaddy bad Australian accent.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Sorry, Ozzy, I'm butchering your dialect, aren't I?
Can you give it to me in a sentence, or will that give it away?
I suppose. Head down to Officeworks and buy a texter.
Texter. So that is a mobile phone.
No. Yeah, well, Officeworks would be a stationer's.
Right. Okay.
Ironically, it's a felt-tipped pen or like a permanent marker. A texter.
Okay.
Yeah. Weird.
Interesting.
Learned that the other week. Craziness. Hit me with one, Chief.
Mine's actually a phrase rather than a specific word. And again, as I previously stated on other ones, I'm not sure if this is used the world over. It will be easy for you to guess what it is, even if you've never heard it before, but it may still be a colloquialism. Enough with me chatting. I've done enough already. The colloquialism that I'm going to use is as useful as a chocolate teapot.
That's great.
I don't know if you've heard that before, or
it's great. No, I've never heard that before. But I mean,
right.
the meaning is, it's implied anyway.
Yes,
but that is wonderful, Chief. Jeez, as useless as a chocolate teapot.
Yeah.
Genius.
Also, a variation on that. Some people say as useful as a chocolate fire guard, but I don't know. Teapot is better for I think.
Teapot is better because it's subtler. Like fire,
Yes, yeah.
no shit.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that line of jokes about the greatest Irish invention, and then you could just rattle off like the inflatable dartboard or the polystyrene anchor. Ha ha! Hilarious.
What's your next one? What are you bookending me with?
Oh, I'm bookending you with well, okay. Firstly, I need to clarify something we had last week when Ben asked me about I'm tuning these chicks.
Yes.
Like, yes, it can mean chatting to females, but tuning is one of those words that are so context dependent that if you're tuning me, it's probably meaning that you are trying to start a fight with me. You're arguing with me. Like, don't tune me, bro. That's like, don't come at me right now. I'm dangerous.
Okay, like on your file card.
I'm a race car and I'm in the red. What? Where's that from?
I'm a race car and I'm in the red. No, I don't know.
Buddy. Well, you need to ask your pal. It's something that he said once upon a time.
Okay.
It's a movie quote, I'm sure. I feel like it might be Tom Cruise.
Okay.
Anyways, I was gonna go with shot. I don't know if I've had this one before.
I think you have.
I have. Well, in that case, I'll just fall back on my master list.
As with the chief memory, I can't remember what it was.
Nah, sorry, don't care. You're getting a new one.
All right. Okay. I'm compiling, not right now, but I'm compiling a spreadsheet which is a breakdown of every episode of Talking Joe. Then it's got columns for issues covered, Yo-Joe Colas given out, what toy was discussed, what the colloquialisms were. So we'll have a master document so that we won't repeat ourselves.
Nice. Well, okay. What is a BOMA? B-O-U-M-A.
A BOMA. Oh, man. Do you fancy a BOMA? No. Or have you seen the BOMAs on Earth? No.
Let's watch the stars as we sit in the BOMA.
Is it a boat of some kind?
It's like a fire pit with a sort of a round either concrete or stone or brick structure that you would sit on, typically like a corrugated iron partial roof,
Yes.
but obviously an opening in the middle for smoke to ascend. It's just like, it's a nice sort of campsite luxury, a boma. You just kind of
Very good.
congregate. Yeah, it's great.
Like it. I'll add it to the spreadsheet. That I
There
haven't
you go,
finished yet.
pal.
Yeah, very good, very good. It now is time to close the show. We've been running long, running hot, running with good content. How much trouble's Chief going to be in when he comes out of the loft? No one knows until next
my
week.
dog.
But it is time for... We asked you a question on all of the social media places. You sent us replies, and now I won't remember any of them, but Steve has tabulated them because we asked you a question.
Yeah, man. And I suppose I can get through this pretty quickly.
No, that's fine. I'm not in
Upsets.
too much trouble. Also, after we've run through these, we are going to quickly dabble in. I realise that I didn't do this on Facebook, but I posted an image of Quick Kick with a pair of shears from the animated show and asked people to caption it. But I only did that on Twitter and Instagram. I forgot to do it on the Facebook page. So if you're exclusive to Facebook, Talking Joe page, and not those other forms of social media, apologies. I will post it on the group, but it will be too late for caption entry competitions because me and Steve are going to pick out our favourites. But let's run through the question we put up first, and that was what affiliation are you? Which kind of group do you associate within the world of G.I. Joe?
And the answers have surprised me, Chief. Big time.
Really?
The
Okay.
way the numbers break down. Okay, we've got single votes for the Adventure Team and the Action Force Z Force. That was my man Rick and my man Mark. The next category, with 2 votes each, were the Red Shadows and the October Guard.
Solid.
Then we've got the Dreadnoks, with 4 people wanting to join their ranks of rabble.
Yes.
Rabble
Yes.
rousers. And only then do we start getting into Joe and Cobra.
Right.
Joe is in second place with 7.
Yes.
And of that 7, 3 people
Yes.
would like
Go
to
on,
be members
go
of
on.
Battle Force 2000.
Oh my goodness.
What the hell? Well, I mean, power to them. That's
Yeah.
interesting, but man, I never would have imagined that in terms of G.I. Joe subsets, BF2K is like way up there as a favorite.
Interesting.
Yeah, I honestly thought the first guy was trolling us.
So that was what, 7 there, was it? Did you say?
7 of the respondents
Yes.
pick Joe over Cobra.
Yeah.
Cobra has a stronger representation with 8
Yes.
folks swearing allegiance to the Hooded Serpent.
Yep.
But far and away, the faction that has the most folks lining up to join is Destro's Iron Grenadiers.
Yeah. Surprising that.
Hey, what is it about those guys? I mean, they're snappy dresses.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. For me, it's got to be based on the equipment. I'd far rather be tooling around in Joe equipment than Cobra or Destro's.
Yeah, I know you're a Joe man.
What about you,
Yeah.
Chief? I mean, is there something that swings one in favor of the other? I really liked Jim weighing in on how cool it would be to kind of headquarter in Cobra Island.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a really tough question. I don't ever like sitting on the fence about anything, but I'm struggling to pick out a specific faction that holds more appeal to me. I don't know. I'd probably lean the Joe side if, gun to the head, but I don't know. I mean, I was thinking also, were there any other factions that we can think of off the top of our heads that got no votes? I was thinking Night Creepers. They didn't get any votes. No one's really going to pick them, I suppose. You mentioned something to me offline, Arashikage clan.
Sure, nobody loves the ninjas, it seems.
Or Ninja Force. Ninja Force was another one that didn't get any votes. But I suppose those people maybe that said Joe as a whole, that kind of incorporates all the sub teams. Tiger Force, Night Force. Is Night Force Joe?
Yeah, sure.
All the subsets of Joe itself.
I think for a subset to be a winner, it needs a winning logo. And
Yes.
the Arashikage hexagram is fantastic. And I've had this argument on G.I. Joeberg recently that, using it as branding is a bit tasteless. You know, it's a cool tattoo. It's a cool like secret society. But if you're gonna plaster it all over your vehicles, weapons, and equipment, starts becoming a little bit OTT. Though, ironically, I looked back at the Snake Eyes origin issues, and that Arashikage dojo was plastered with the hexagram. But then offline, Paul was like saying, yeah, but that's indoctrination. That's what you'd expect to find at a top secret, like, ultra hush-hush ninja dojo. They're like, you are part of this machine.
Well, it was good. It was a good little poll. You know, good to find out, you know, people's inner thoughts and allegiances, etc. And, you know, seeing Destro at the top was something we probably wouldn't have predicted. So good to see that.
Did you see Brent McMillan's picture that he shared of like this biker gang, like Aussie or Kiwi biker gang?
Yes. What's his name? What's the director's dad? Wasn't it?
Totally.
I don't want to pronounce his name.
Taika Waititi.
Waititi. Yes, that's it. Yeah, that was wicked. That was really cool.
Incredible. So clearly, I mean, that was that kind of choppery gang culture here in Aussie and Kiwi.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Good for that. Thanks everyone, as always, for your responses. That, you know, that's what the segment's all about. So without the responses and the replies, that segment doesn't exist, and we have to resort to me asking Steve a question, which no one cares about.
Us. Yeah. What transformer would you like to be? Lamborghini.
Hey. That was that was one of the early episodes of Talking Joe, I think.
What color would you like your lightsaber to be? No, Chief, they're great questions. They're always good questions, my friend.
That's almost like the formative years of Outer Timers, where Talking Joe went a bit more pop culture-y at the end of the episode. Yeah, that was the formation of it. But
bring it back, Chief. I just got to get my head out of G.I. Joe. I'm too stuck sucking on that titty.
The image of Quick Kick with the shears that I mentioned earlier actually came from Ben. He posted that image to me and said, put this up on Talking Joe and asked people to caption it. Just out of the blue, he sent me that image and said, do it. So I put it up. I've got no idea what episode this is from or where this image is from. Other people will be able to tell me. But it is, if you haven't seen it, is Quick Kick holding a big pair of shears. And responses we've got, and then we're going to pick our faves. Someone said, time for your vasectomy.
Oof.
Well, Pilgrim, can you do a John Wayne for me?
Well, Pilgrim, it's Quick Kick doing John Wayne, and so it's kind of he sends it up anyway. Yes. This is animated Quick Kick we're talking about. Yeah. But no, you do the reading, Chief. Come on, man.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm not going to do the accent. Well, Pilgrim, looks like this hedge needs a trimming. We had in my next film, I'm Lorena Bobbitt. When the grass is greener on the other side, somebody's got to cut the lawn. Hong Kong Fooey, #1 super guy. You're talking shit about my fudgy bars.
Cartoon reference.
This is the last time I take on a group of lawn vipers. That sounds like S-Job's favourite. Don't mean to cut and run. Those backyard bushes have gotten big. I'm not sure this is how you manscape.
Yeah, saw that one.
I'm going to castrate your Pilgrim. And then my personal favourite from Bauscher on Twitter is, I'll see you at SummerSlam. And that is because that is a reference, I guess, to Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And I'm a massive 80s, 90s WWE wrestling fan. So that's my favourite one. I'll see you at SummerSlam.
Damn. All right.
What's your favourite? Are you going with the Lawn Vipers?
I'll go with Lawn Vipers. Honestly, Chief, when you...
That was Anything Joe's gave us that one.
Nice. He's even got a punny handle. Isn't that fun? When you gave me this topic, I thought we were composing our own lines to caption.
Oh, right. I see. That's why I misconfused a message you sent me then. Saying like you said bring your A game or something like that, which I thought you were referring to when we record this recording, make sure you're on top form. What you actually meant was bring your best pun.
Yeah. Well, you've brought us nothing but form this evening, Chief. Okay. The listeners will be only so thrilled.
Well, I'm not sure about that. But have you captioned it for me?
I came up with a comic book savvy caption and a cartoon series savvy caption.
Love it.
But they probably are both equally lame because I think we've established, like, I might have the dramatic chops, but I don't have the funny bones. Anyways, to try and do a Quick Kick animated impersonation, here we go. Hey, Pilgrim, there's only one form of birth control that works on fatal fluffies. Oh,
Okay,
fatal
yeah.
fluffies are... Okay, never mind. Let me not explain the joke.
Yes.
And then the cartoon savvy one. Forge the wizard Onihashi steel. If you encounter God on your journey, God will be cut!
Yes, that was good. I like that.
Well, I was shamelessly cribbing Kill Bill on that one as well.
Yes. I've got that to watch, actually. I've got that recorded on the Virgin Plus box, Volume 1 and Volume 2 to watch. So I've only ever seen that once before. So more homework for Chief. You've reminded me I need to watch
You've
that. But
only ever watched Kill Bill once before. Hey, Chief.
yeah, is that surprising to you?
Well, only because Kill Bill was such an unexpected turn from Tarantino to that point that it kind of demanded a rewatch just to like, huh? Because
Yes.
you go through it and you're like, is he making a comic book movie?
Yeah.
Like this is crazy. You know, this guy does crime stories. This is like every genre rolled into one, like fucking samurai swords, mate.
All right. Well, if we struggle for a question for the listeners next week, the question can be from Steve. So, Chief, what did you think of Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2? But we'll
Done.
find out.
Done.
All right. Okay. Done.
Sorry, listeners.
And listeners watch it as well, so or rewatch it. So you might get more out of that chat at the end of next episode. But yeah, we have had it's been a really, really fun episode. I was worried that there would be a come down after episode 80, but the japes and scrapes are still here on Talking Joe as always. Thanks to my co-host S Jubs, as always, for keeping the show afloat, doing all the hard donkey work on the back end. If you want to get a hold of us, you can do that in all the usual places. That's Talking_Joe on Twitter, Talking Joe Comics on the Instagram, TalkingJoeComics@gmail.com, or Talking Joe, a G.I. Joe podcast on Facebook. I'm still posting up daily art pics over on Chiefy Two Shoes on Twitter and Instagram, so check those out. I think I posted up some Joe ones recently, Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes by the excellent Lee Bradley. So I've got more Joe sketches and commissions in the locker. I'm on to day 62. I'm posting Street Fighter 2 sketch cards all this week, so check those out. Where can they find people? I know they know where they can find you, but for those new listeners that we might have picked up after episode 80, where can the people find your work?
When I'm not doing Talking Joe intrigues and japes and scrapes, I do run a channel called G.I. Joeberg. We have a presence on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We also have a podcast. It's fortnightly, so not quite as swish as Talking Joe, but it's far more generalized Joe talk.
Good chat, catch up with the boys there. Always talking about the cigarette black market, cigarette shenanigans over in South Africa. Always interesting to find out what's going on there.
They've banned alcohol again, Chief.
Yeah, I heard that. My missus told me that actually. Yeah.
They've gone dry again. It's people are going to be rioting, man. Tell you, it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, and also Talking Joe is going to be having a crack, as we mentioned last time, on Cobra Convergence 5. The Talking Joe episode will go out Monday, August 10. So stay tuned for that. There'll be a bit of bonus Talking Joe oral excitement in your ear. So listen out for that. But with all that said and done, we'll see you down the road.
We've been Talking Joe.
And we're all out of Joes.
And we're not Talking Joes.
Yeah.
Yo, Joe!